Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 147 of the MTB podcast, presented and hosted by Worldwide Cyclery. I'm Jared.
I'm Liam.
I'm Trevor.
That is right. And where's Jeff? Jeff's going, well, you're going to North Carolina tomorrow.
With him. Apparently he couldn't come to the podcast because he was leaving, but we're on the same flight tomorrow.
He's a busy man.
I'm here, though.
Yeah.
He's busy. He's got some loose ends to tie up before he gets out of here. But
we got 3 amigos today.
Oh.
And yeah.
We are the 3 amigos. I thought you were talking about the Mexican restaurant.
No.
Oh, okay.
Maybe after this.
In this episode, we are going to discuss some radical recent rides, some epic trips we're going on next year, plus some legendary listener questions ranging from riding snacks that don't taste like fermented Skittles to the best breaks for serious downhill riding and everything in between.
It's big range.
That's a lot of stuff.
Let's get into it.
Zach's words of wisdom: just be nicer to people. Pretty straight up.
I heard him say that too.
He's
like, man, just be nicer.
That's right.
Zach's a pretty nice guy.
He is. You know what? You don't know what the person next to you is going through. They're having a bad day. There could be reasons behind it. So just be nice to them,
Yeah.
Somebody says, hey, screw you. You say, you know what? Hope you have a great day. That's nice.
Hope you have your favorite dinner tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Hope you have your favorite dinner tonight. Daniel's fun fact: Maine is the U.S. state closest to Africa.
That is a little trippier thing, right? You'd think it'd be Florida.
You would think. But that's not how it turns out.
That's how the globe works, though.
It is. Very interesting.
That is how the globe works.
That's how the globe works. Fantastic testimonials. This one is a nice, sweet, simple one. Hell's Gate grips rule. I have been riding mountain bikes for 32 years. Best grips I have ever used thus far.
Wow.
That's high praise.
Did you know? They now come in olive.
Oh,
nice.
Olive the colors.
It's a sweet color. It matches perfectly to the lyric on Rock Shock's.
It does match the lyric.
It really does.
But they're doing away with that color.
No.
Or they already did, I think.
Yeah, I think
it looks great.
I can't remember.
Why do they got to change colors like that?
I know.
It was cool.
I know.
Red looks cool. The green looks cool. Black's just generic, but
yeah,
the green looks. It's just.
Did you put these on Parker's Banshee?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They look good.
It looks real good.
The green lyric.
Also, they must still have it if you got that fork.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I think they do,
we ordered that from SRAM. So.
Yeah.
If you're wondering the bike they're talking about, it's on our Instagram. It's a sweet Banshee Prime. They just built up for your boy.
Built up for my roommate.
The thing is sweet.
Built up a Banshee Prime, and it's a kind of a no-nonsense build. No batteries, aluminum frame, aluminum wheels, and it just works.
Yep.
It's just awesome.
Good suspension, good brakes.
Looks awesome.
Like grab it and go.
Check out the Instagram page because it is a pretty sweet, unique looking bike.
Yeah.
It is super sick.
I love having trail bikes like that. Just no nonsense, straight to the point. Just grab and go.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to give a testimonial to these Hell's Gate grips as well. Before I started working here, I was a pretty big fan of the ODI Elite grips. It just kind of came on a lot of bikes and just really liked them. And
I'd say those are pretty industry standard.
Yeah, they're just super good. So I tried these Trail One, try them out. And I really like the thicker diameter on them. I've noticed that you don't have to grip very hard, which is huge actually. I've kind of realized, especially on a long descent, really helps a lot with arm pump and hand fatigue. And the more you also use the grip, it kind of wears in and gets ultra tacky. And man, I kind of wear them down too much.
I do too.
Because I just kind of love the way it wears in. Fits my hands perfectly, fits where my braking fingers are and stuff. And big fan.
Yeah, Jeff's always like, your what are they called? Grips. Brain fart. Yeah, grips are worn out. I'm like, no, they're just worn in.
Yeah.
Because he likes them kind of fresh and I don't.
Yeah.
So sometimes if he'll like, oh, I want new grips, I'll take his and then I'll like flip them. And then that way, and also you can flip them. They're symmetrical, so you can flip them. And then you can get like double use out of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that so? That's very interesting because there is nothing like a perfectly worn out pair of Hell's Gate, worn in pair of Hell's Gate grips.
Yeah. So I like Trevor, I kind of ride him to the absolute death. And Jeff rides him to 80%, and then I take his 80%ers.
There you go.
80% left.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
80% left, like his tires.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's just the thick grip too gives a little bit extra damping and feedback. So it's kind of mutes the trail a little bit, which I think is a benefit. I feel like you can't get enough of that. And big fan.
Super solid. Speaking of trails, Oh, you're going to say something.
No, yeah, I was just saying, I don't know how people run super thin grips anymore.
I know.
After riding thick grips, because it's just harsh and kind of hurt your hands. And I've got, I don't know, big hands, normal hands, but yeah.
I used to be, I still kind of do like thin grips. I like them both. I don't know. I like to play around a little bit. It kind of depends on the bike for me and like the brake setup. Like
we literally made the Farlow Gap grips for Jared.
Just for me.
And as soon as they came in, he goes, yeah, I like the Hell's Gate grips.
Hey, you know what? Different strokes for different folks. And I like to, experiment a little bit. But honestly, I think it does kind of boil down to like what brakes you're running a little bit. For me, like I like to, like for the Maguras, I like to have them, the way I have them set up, I like a thinner grip. But like for the Mavens and Codes, like I kind of like the thicker grip. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm crazy.
There's something to there.
There's something there, right?
That's an interesting thought.
Like, I don't know, because your whole hand, everything is different, right?
Yeah.
Just like the cockpit.
Especially going from Maguras to any other kind of brake, the ergonomics are just so much different than any other brake, and
totally
the way your hands are on the bar is different, and something to get used to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of which, riding bikes. We've been riding bikes. Liam, what kind of bikes and trails have you been riding?
All of them.
All of them.
This last week was Thanksgiving, and I rode Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Nice.
And I rode Wednesday, Thursday on the XC bike, mostly locally. Wednesday, we had Hero Dirt. It was, cherry. I did a little trail work the weekend before, so I got to ride some fresh trails with good dirt.
Nice.
Really hard to beat.
Wow.
Thursday,
Rare.
Thursday more XC. Friday, I rode the trail bike, which is my XC bike's Yeti ASR right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then my trail bike currently is a Revel Rascal.
Ooh.
V2. Rode that for Friday and Saturday, and then I spun the roadie on Sunday with my buddy Sammy. I was in town.
Sounds like a guy who's got his stuff figured out.
It's a good mix.
Yeah.
That's a great mix.
Yeah.
It's a well-balanced diet.
Nice taper. You kind of warmed up to the trail bike, and then there you go off onto the road bike, just spinning the legs.
Yeah, it was good.
Liam, I kind of did a similar thing, except for I was kind of coming off of an illness last week, so I didn't get to take advantage of that epic Hero Dirt. But I rode my trail bike, which I kind of got some tire inspiration. I switched my setup a little bit on my Yeti SB140 because I had, max grip Assegai and a double down DHR2. It's not super
some like proper enduro-ish, heavy trail enduro tires.
Yeah. So, not like the most mile eating tire combo out there. So I put a little DHF and a Forecaster on there. It's kind of crazy, but that's on that Banshee, right?
Yep.
That's the tire combo he on the Banshee.
I built it up on there. My roommate was kind of like out of the loop on what tires are good, and he was pretty specific on wanting a DHF. So yeah, we got him a EXO casing max grip DHF for the front, so it's light and super grippy. And then we put a 3C EXO Plus Forecaster on the rear, which is pretty sweet tire for the rear, and it just rolls fast and has pretty consistent light grip.
It's impressive. Honestly, I would get another one of those Forecasters for the front for that bike, just for like that purpose, for like just covering miles and training and stuff.
Yeah, I think dual EXO Plus Forecasters on a 140 would be like a pretty sweet combo. I mean, that's basically what you rode at Downeyville.
Yeah, that's exactly what I ran.
You have dual EXO Plus?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, I'm a fan. People might say like, "Oh, DHF is it sucks."
I personally don't like it.
I'm not like a huge fan, and honestly, for years I did not like it.
But if it is going to work good, it's right now when it's blown out.
Yeah.
Like, I think it works great in soil, but we don't have soil around here mostly. Now, right now we have some powder, so it kind of helps.
Yeah, it's not great on like loose over hard. You really got to lean into those corner knobs. But the bike goes a lot faster now, so that's cool. But yeah, I've been riding Sycamore, and kind of like you, I rode my road bike up in Ventura the other day, and that was pretty cool. Super fun. I love riding along the ocean right there. Saturday.
It's so nice, huh? Saturday,
Perfect.
Sunday.
Just a little bit of wind, not too bad.
But sorry to rub it in where you guys were, but it was like 75 and sunny this weekend.
It was
with shorts and t-shirt.
It was
on the road bike.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
We're spoiled.
Yeah, we are. What about you, Trevor? What have you been riding?
Well, yeah. So last weekend was Thanksgiving week, so had a little bit of time off work and went to go visit my mother out in Tucson, Arizona. So got some desert riding in. Yeah, I rode like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Sick.
Just as much as I could, just a little break. And I stopped in South Mountain in Phoenix to break up the drive and ride there. Just my kind of yearly fitness test going up National Trail in South Mountain. It's pretty dang physical.
You climb from the bottom like through waterfall?
Just the whole thing.
Yeah.
Up and down. Just
Sick.
didn't do any other trails, just up and down, and just seeing where I was at skill wise and fitness wise, because it's pretty punchy. What I failed to kind of understand is how hard that is after driving for a couple hours, and my hip flexors were not super happy about that.
Oh,
And it was also a pretty forceful warm up, but once I was warmed up, it was fine. So that was cool. I brought the Forbidden Druid V2 out there, which I thought would be a perfect kind of weapon for the southern Arizona desert, which it was, honestly, with some beefy Michelin Enduro tires too, which was pretty cool.
nice.
And then, I rode in Tucson. She lives near a trail system called the 50-year trail system. And it's just cactus everywhere and super tech climbs and tech downhills, really cool rock slabs. And just super unique. I kind of think of it as like the final boss because of mountain bike trails, because there's just cactus trying to kill you everywhere. And you're kind of dodging and weaving cactus the whole time. So that was cool. But yeah, the Druid was pretty perfect out there, honestly. And with some thick tires, I didn't have any issues with getting cactuses in my tires or thorns or hitting rim or anything like that. So
Sick.
Yeah, those Michelins are pretty impressive. I have those on my Rascal as well. Same combo.
Yep. And the fronts lasted me forever. I first put it on in Whistler. What was that, back in
September?
Nice.
Early September.
Been riding it ever since then, and still has a lot of life left on it. And been switching between the Enduro rear and the MH rear.
Yeah,
and,
Wild MH.
Yeah, and been super cool. The just the Enduro rear rolls pretty fast. It's got like a kind of a semi-slick look to it, and it's pretty good for the desert. It's got really consistent grip on all the rock out there. So yeah, that was pretty sweet.
That's sick. Sounds like a good time. I haven't ridden bikes out in Arizona desert in a long time.
Yeah, same actually. Only go in the
It's
spring.
definitely type 2. It's pretty just extreme.
Yeah, I don't know. I think National's pretty fun going down. Like,
it's super fun,
especially if you ride at the local and you can see all those rock gaps.
Yeah, that's cool.
Last
I never had to do
year
that.
I rode at the local. His name is Jared Becker out there. He's actually the trainer for KTM Off-Road. And so he's a super freak fitness guy and really good at like trials riding, which you have to be good for out there. And he was showing me all the A-lines. Pretty crazy A-lines out there.
That's
There
sick.
is, yeah. I was just going to say, I rode with the Rock Shocks guys there years ago and following them. They had been there for a week and they're pretty incredible riders. And following them through the A-lines was just like pull up and trust, what they're doing.
And really trust that these three rocks stacked up on top of each other go into a line, not just off of a cliff.
Yeah.
So once you kind of figure that out and you can read the terrain and you're looking up the whole time, then it was good.
That's rad. I went to ASU. Some people may not know, but I used to ride National Trail all the time, and that was like the best like technical climb test, at least for me in the area. Like
for sure.
And then I'd ride people and they're like it's not fun to ride with you because I'm walking and you're not.
And it takes a couple rides to kind of figure that out. And I was kind of glad I did stop in Phoenix to ride, because when I got to Tucson, I was ready for anything. And there's a lot of similar stuff out there, and I was full of confidence going into it. So
you're dialed in.
That was good.
Sick. Well, speaking of traveling, we are going on a couple of fun mountain bike trips next year.
Yeah.
We are going to Tasmania. I don't know if we've talked about that. Maybe we have.
I don't know actually if we have. I thought we plugged it, but
maybe not. But there are only a couple spots left, actually. I think only 2 spots are left on that trip. So if you're interested, there will be a link in the description to check that out. And if that's a little too far across the globe for you, we're also going to Whistler in June. So check that out too. It's a couple of sweet trips. Maybe put those on your radar if you're looking for a sick mountain bike trip next year.
I am so stoked on the Tassie trip.
Yeah, that's going to be nuts. I have no idea what to expect.
Me either. Well, I have somewhat. It looks like we're riding mostly Derby.
Yeah.
And Derby looks like Rocky Peak in a eucalyptus jungle. is how I'd explain it. Like just big rock slabs, some crazy features, but like you're in a eucalyptus jungle the whole time.
That's sick.
Yeah. I remember seeing videos of that place when they raced in EWS back there, and some GoPro POV from like Jesse Melliman and stuff.
Yeah. And there's that rock squeeze.
Yeah. I just couldn't believe how fast those guys were going through some of that stuff. Yeah. And it's like, riding there seems awesome, but racing there seems pretty crazy.
Yeah,
for sure.
That would be nuts. Like that reminds me of like Tutti Frutti, in the Dolomites. Like getting down the trail is one thing. Like I couldn't imagine racing it like balls to the wall, like on this spine of a ridgeline. Like
and
that's
then
insane.
Off the ridgeline, you remember that off-camera route section It's probably like 50 feet off camera route that was like literally 45-degree angle, but you have to go straight across it.
And if it's wet.
And it was dry, and I was like dabbing.
Yeah.
And I was like, how would anyone ride this in the wet?
Yeah.
You just need super grippy tires.
Just committed and willing to crash.
Fully committed.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was crazy, actually.
Yeah.
That was
trail. And then, Whistler will be sweet, like 5 days in Pemberton. It's not just Whistler.
Right.
It's Sea to Sky. So we're riding Squamish, Whistler, and Pemberton.
That's right.
Mixing it up.
Maybe the most beautiful place in the world.
I think it's, I've heard Tassie in New Zealand can rival it. So,
wow.
But places I've been, and I think it's the most beautiful place, West Coast and possibly North America.
Yeah. Sea to Sky region is gorgeous. I mean, snow-capped mountains, like right there on the water and the islands and stuff. That place is amazing. Definitely one of my favorite places in the world, if not the. So yeah, like I said, if you're interested in an exciting mountain bike adventure next year, check those out. They'll be in the show notes.
And me, you, and Jeff are going on Tassie.
Correct.
And then just me and you, as in Liam and Jared, are going to Whistler.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yep.
Should be a exciting year. And speaking of which, you're also going to North Carolina. We briefly touched on that earlier, but you're going for, Jeff is doing a 24-hour race.
Correct.
And he is running for 12 hours.
And then riding for 12.
And then riding for 12 hours.
Yep.
That is.
He loves it.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I think we mentioned this. I'll go over it quickly. We have a $1,000 shipping option that is hand delivered by Jeff on our websites. Someone placed a wheel set order, used that $1,000 shipping option, and then emailed and said, hey, I did this. However, I'm inviting Jeff to the 24-hour Old Fort Classic or
Old Fort Strong, something like that.
That this year is a fundraiser for the North Carolina hurricane
relief or Hurricane Helen
fund.
Relief. Yeah.
So Jeff is like, yep, customer, 24-hour challenge and fundraising. He likes all those. So he's able to raise quite a bit of money doing it. And I basically initially volunteered myself to go sag him and stay up all night and make sure he gets through it. So
that's right.
Feed him, make sure his bike's good, and I'll take photos and video. So
yeah, document it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
So by the time this is out, I think we will have finished it. But
yeah,
I'm gonna take some live video stuff, like just for the stories, and then I'll take a bunch of photos as well. So
epic.
Yeah.
I feel like no matter what, it's going to be hard, but compared to what Jeff has already done this year, I feel like it's going to be a walk in the park.
That's what he did say. It's only, 5, whatever he said. I'm only packing 5,000 calories to eat. It's a walk in the park. like whatever.
It's still super extreme.
Totally.
But he's so extreme.
I mean, part of me, I've never done a 24-hour race, but part of me feels like I want to do it or I want to be riding because it's going to be 20 degrees and I'm going to be standing there in the boat.
Oh.
Yeah.
You need like a bonfire or something.
We shipped a heater and an anchor battery out there.
Nice.
And I'm sure there'll be some fires or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. That sounds like fun.
A group 24-hour race seems pretty fun.
Like a relay.
A group effort relay.
Yeah.
Do 2 hours at a time.
Yeah.
The first 24. That seems like a blast. Yeah. But doing 24 hours by yourself seems pretty out there.
Yeah. Talk about type 2, right?
Type 2 for sure.
Yeah. At least it's laps though. So you see your pit crew every 8 miles or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice. But I feel like this could easily be something that you could also underestimate, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And then you're 11
especially
hours.
If you go out too hard.
Yeah. I mean, 11 hours into a ride is deep or whatever, no matter who you are, right? I mean, Jeff is obviously an anomaly, but
yeah,
that's gnarly.
Even after 5 hours, I'm over it. I'm done.
5 hours is long.
I've done some 9-10 hour stuff.
Get me on a couch.
Right? And they're like, okay, you're done. Time to go run.
Yeah.
No, but he's going to run first.
He's running first, then riding.
Running first.
Which I think is a smarter way to do it.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His brain's just so used to riding, it'll be no
and
problem
it's less
getting into
impact.
That.
Yeah. So.
That is so gnarly. I mean, I did that off-road trail race. I think that was last year already with, Zach and Mike. And it took me, I think 3 hours to do. And it was maybe 13 miles.
Yep.
Times 4.
Yep.
That's just savage. And in that cold. I mean, you just got to keep going. For me, it would be chafing and apparently that doesn't happen to Jeff, but
yeah.
Probably does. He just doesn't tell you about it or complain about it like
Yeah.
anyone else would.
Right. And then oh man. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what happens there. You ever done a 24-hour race?
No. I've talked about doing 24 hours at Old Pueblo. I have a couple of friends. We haven't really signed up for it yet and how we want to do it, but
that's a relay, right?
It can be whatever you want. It can be a team, co-ed, duo, or solo. Like it can kind of be whatever you want.
Sick.
Where's that at?
Just outside Tucson.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I would do that.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I think next time I go to visit my mom out there, I'm bringing an XC bike because there's tons of just green trails out there and just flowy XC single track forever.
Yeah.
And a dirt bike.
Yep.
Oh,
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you still have your dirt bike.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I got to bring dirt bike out there.
Gotta bring dirt bike.
That sounds like so much fun. Speaking of fun, we got a few videos that we've been working on for the people.
For the peeps. That's
for
you
the
guys.
Peeps, for the peeps. We are filming a Fox 36 Grip X longish term review. In a couple days. Pretty long term, yeah. Had it on my bike for maybe 8 months or 6-8 months or something like that. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
This is the Grip X, not the Grip X2?
Correct, Grip X.
Nice.
Yeah. Which I feel like suits the SB140 pretty well.
For sure.
And especially like the zone, that we're in and the kind of riding that we like to do a lot. And we are also doing a SB140 bike check for myself. Stay tuned for that.
Oh.
And then we have Best of the Year coming out.
Dun, dun, dun.
Probably in what are we, December just started?
Yeah, probably.
That's maybe like 6 to 8 weeks out.
Yeah.
And then Jeff's going to do a video called Things I Will Not Ride Without.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
His favorite things to ride with that he will not ride without. Even though we all know he's a notorious raw dogger.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
So yeah, stay tuned for some sweet videos. And if there's any videos you guys want to see in particular, shoot us an email, podcast@worldwidesoccer.com, and give us some feedback. We love feedback. And
we'll make
ideas.
it happen.
We love video ideas. Like we can't get enough of them. So please do that. Should we jump into a listener question for a break?
Yep. Yeah, we got our first one from our very own DJ Green Goblin. As we were leading into the podcast, he asked us this question. So we figured we'd just not answer it and put it in the podcast. So
go ahead and read it.
All right. Out of the bikes you have ridden in 2024, if you had to choose only one of those bikes to ride all of 2025, which would it be?
It is a great question. Coming from a few guys that have ridden a few different bikes this year, you can probably take the cake for how many bikes, and at least good old fashioned Amish bikes.
Yeah. I mean, so of the bikes I've ridden, I had a Revel Ranger, a Revel Rail 29, a Yeti ASR. I've had two of them in two different build configurations. And then now I'm on I did have the Arc. Forgot about that. And then I've also had now I'm on the Revel Rascal V2.
And
so that's it.
And well, you have that with the hardtail.
Yeah.
But you haven't ridden that, have you?
I put one right on it.
Yeah.
And it's basically the same as that Arc.
Yeah. That's a tough one. What is that? 7 bikes or something?
So you've got some a handful of bikes to choose from right here.
That's so hard.
That's really hard. That's
if I'm thinking of 2025 and just like we said, Tassie and Whistler.
Yeah.
And then I want to pedal some stuff, I'd honestly probably have to go the Rail 29.
Yeah, that's
the Revel Rail 29.
Totally
it's
fair.
So versatile. The Rascal's pretty close to it, but it just isn't as plowable and confident in the real rough stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It gets overwhelmed quicker, which of course it does. It has 25 mil less travel and less steeper angles. But yeah, I think I'd probably have to go with the Rail 29. That bike is so versatile.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
What about you, Trevor?
Man, I'm super conflicted right now, to be honest with you. So I had an SB140 here for like a year and a half, a little longer than a year and a half, and I love that bike. It just did everything. Again, raced Downeyville, able to go to the bike park, go to Whistler, go to Mexico, like do everything on it. And that was pretty cool. But lately I've been riding the Forbidden Druid V2, and I've been super impressed with that bike, especially after taking it to Tucson recently. I kind of fell in love with it a little bit, to be honest with you. The frame is super stiff.
It's such a good bike.
And really, the harder you push it, the better it gets. I would have no problem it's a 130 mil travel bike. I would have no problem taking that anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think that speaks for itself. I mean, I don't know if I would race Downeyville on that.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's the thing.
But I think for that reason, I'll have to choose the SB140 because it's just a jack of all trades.
For that reason, you're out.
For that reason,
I'm out.
You know, Trevor, I had the same thought process.
And you had the same bikes, didn't you?
And I had the same bikes.
Yep.
Just reversed.
Yeah.
Reverse.
Exactly. Reverse.
I feel like you saw me on the SB140 and you're like, I got to get that.
Well, this is actually my second SB140.
Okay.
So, yes, you're
So
right.
maybe not.
Yeah, you had a SB140, Druid V2, SB140, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So I literally had the same exact thought process as you. It's like, I love that Druid. And if I like lived in the Pacific Northwest or like BC, like that would be the go-to. But like with that said, the 140 is so versatile in that way where like I'm throwing forecasters on it and doing 30-mile rides.
No
Where
problem.
like the Druid, you could probably do that. But like with the high pivot and stuff, it's just like, it's a little too much to pedaling around all day.
Yeah.
Like for me, at least in that scenario here where we live, like if it was
we
somewhere
have
else.
too many miles here
Yeah,
where like we don't have like just steep fire roads to downhill trails.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it because I rode also the ASR come out this year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I rode the ASR.
Which is such a good bike.
Such a
And
good bike.
I've still been tweaking on mine and I'm just making it better and better.
You're in a good place with that bike right now.
Yeah.
It's a sharp knife right now.
Yeah.
Did you
it
change
is.
the travel?
Yeah. So I kind of messed with the rear shock. I put on a float yesterday.
Ooh.
I haven't ridden it fully yet. Just me and Trevor parking lot tested it.
And it was the SL, right?
I had a float SL before and I have a float that's 2.5 mil overstroked.
Bigger
It's not
kit.
recommended. It will void your warranty. But
But Liam's frame's painted, so there's no warranty. on
yeah, I
that frame.
already ruined the warranty. I painted it. So,
Well, that really
yeah,
would
it
it.
pushes. Yeah, of course.
For sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
stock.
I'm messing up the clear coat. So
Yeah.
there's that. And then also, I'm pushing the link farther than it should be pushed. So
Yeah.
there's that.
yeah.
But it's 120 in the rear now, and that bike feels like it's going to be really good with that shock.
Wow.
But yeah, that bike's awesome. It's on a different side of being versatile, but man, you could throw on some Forecasters EXO Pluses and basically ride
Yeah.
almost up to bike park or enduro trail stuff.
Are you going
right.
to put the roller eyelet bearing in there?
Once I get it dialed with volume spacers, I want to ride it first.
Oh, yeah, because it'll be easier to take the...
You
Yeah,
can't
that's
take
true.
it off. It can't get over that
Yeah,
that bearing.
that is the
so-
one problem with the roller eyelet
Mhm.
bearing.
Mhm.
For those of you that don't know, you can change out the eyelet on a shock, on some shocks, and get a bearing in there
Yeah.
instead of just a DU bushing, and just decreases friction, maybe makes it a little bit stiffer, but to service the shock is quite a bit more steps and a special tool. So
It's a pain.
there's kind of a downside to that. So
Mhm.
that does make sense if you do want to change volume spacers. That's probably your last step before you do that.
Yep, exactly. So, but that bike is super fun.
Yeah. That's sick. Honestly, ASR is on my radar.
Yeah.
It's such a sick
I
bike.
think what Liam has will probably be my next bike. If anyone's looking to buy my old 140,
Yeah.
hit me up.
It's actually very dialed.
It's super
It is
clean,
super dialed.
super dialed.
XX transmission,
XX transmission.
axis post.
Doesn't have an axis post on it right now. It's got the Transex 200 millimeter.
Mm.
So for the
There you
tall
go.
peeps, but
Wireless
we
posts.
can put a 170 axis on there.
Yeah.
It's got a fresh bird wheel, rear wheel, and pretty good front wheel.
Yeah.
And,
Rock
Yeah,
shock
and
suspension.
rock shock
wheels,
suspension.
RockShox ultimate suspension.
It looks amazing.
Great
Yeah.
deal for a bike too.
Yeah. Great deal.
Wow.
Hit me up.
Hit them up. Check it out.
Yeah, my next bike will probably be an ASR, just like Liam's building.
Yeah.
I think it just is really appropriate for the trails where we live.
Yeah.
And I kind of want a bike for that.
You putting a 130 fork on it too?
I'm going to try
You're gonna
eventually.
try it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're gonna do that too?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
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 Because the Druid and the 140 is good for where we are, but it is sometimes a little bit too much. And if you want the proper tires on it, it just gets heavy.
Mhm.
So just different trails, you can ride different stuff. And I've been kind of ignoring our easier trails and long routes and connecting trail systems together. And I miss that, and I want to go back to that.
Yeah. Agreed. That's why I did the same thing with my 140s. Put those tires on there.
Yep.
Because I want to do those rides.
Some
again.
bigger rides, more
Exactly.
fun, roll
Yep.
fast.
Got to train and not look like a chump when we go on these trips, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, should we have an ad?
Yep. And now from our sponsor.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Bike thieves? Not on your watch. Meet the Bike Screamer 5000.
Hands off, you greasy gremlin.
It's loud, it's rude, and it'll scare the chain loop out of anybody who tries.
Thief alert. Calling all cops. And your mom.
Bike Screamer 5000, because some locks just don't yell at people.
Nice try, dumbass.
And now, back to the show. And we're back. Sounds like I got to get myself a Bike Screamer 5000. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yep, good idea. Anyways.
We have some tantalizing listener questions.
Nice. They are tantalizing. Question number 1.
Let's get into it. All right.
Go ahead, Trevor.
I have been wanting to get into bike maintenance and repair more, but I do not have any of the tools. I've looked into park tool kits and I don't know which one to get or if they are worth the money. Are there any good kits that you recommend, or should I just buy the park tool one? Thank you very much. I also really enjoy your podcast. Didn't know much of the things you guys are talking about. Thanks again. We're here to help.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I was looking this up a little bit because I'm a mechanic as well. And Park Tool makes great stuff.
They do.
It's relatively affordable and does the job. It's just at the end of the day, you need a tool that does the job, and it does the job. And I think for a toolkit that won't break the bank completely, but gives you kind of everything you need before it gets too advanced, the Park Tool Advanced Mechanic Toolkit, the AK-5 as they call it, is $380, and you buy that kit and you'll have those tools for a long time.
Yeah.
And you can pretty much do everything to tear down your bike, service it, besides like maybe bleeding the brakes or something like that.
True.
Doing suspension service, which again is a little bit more on the advanced side. It kind of covers all your grounds.
It does, yeah. It even has some like nice bike wash stuff in there too, which is pretty key, honestly, to keeping your bike nice and clean, maintained well.
Another one that's a little more expensive, but however, really worth it, is the EK3 Professional Travel and Event Kit. That one is a little over $1,000, but it is dialed with a lot of the tools
nice
actually
box.
we use every day.
That's true. You got that nice cassette tool.
You got cassette tools, you got nice scissors, you got a lot of pliers, chain tools.
Yeah, hammer.
A little bit less I don't know what the other one has. Yeah, the other one doesn't have cone wrenches either. But like the kits that come with a lot of cone wrenches are like not needed for our current mountain bikes.
Yeah, that's for those, huh? It's for old school hubs and stuff like that.
So it doesn't come with it comes with just enough to get you by, but not like focusing on that stuff.
Yeah.
Bottom bracket tools, it's a good kit. So
it's true. You know what else I really like is the little wear kit that we bring when we travel.
Yeah.
That's a great travel kit, right? Like if you just want something to toss in your car or whatever, or to trip. But yeah, that is a great kit just if you don't have anything. Right, or if all you have is Allens or whatever. I
think with the tool world, there's kind of two worlds. There's the super high end, and then there's kind of just the normal world, and there's also the low end too. But
yeah,
there's companies like Wera. There's super nice German tools. Like if you're a professional mechanic, you kind of those are sought after. It's kind of what you want to get. But there's no shame in getting anything from Park Tool. Honestly,
no,
they make great stuff, and yeah, we use Park Tool stuff every single day, and it's good.
It's true. We absolutely do. But, you've also built your own kit, Liam, a few times.
Yeah.
So, I guess it really just depends on your budget.
It's definitely all about budget. The Park Tool stuff is the best bang for the buck. It is quality enough to work on a high-end bike. I wouldn't try to go cheaper than that. You'll start getting bad wrenches and, rounding out bolts.
For sure.
And yeah, you can go... My kits are nice, and we have friends that spend way too much money on kits, and they're not really doing anything better than ours, but they're just baller,
Yeah, the Abbey tools.
Abbey, some Abbey stuff's worth it. You don't need all Abbey. Some Wera stuff's worth it. You don't need all Wera.
Yeah.
Some Nitpex is worth it. You don't need all Nitpex.
No.
It just depends what you're doing, what you value, but yeah.
I built out a toolbox this past year, and because I'd always wanted to do that, and yeah, I got some Wera stuff. I got Nitpex stuff, but I also got a bunch of Park stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the stuff I use every day, and then some of the specialty stuff that I invested a little bit more money into because I know it's going to last me forever and allow me to do the best job possible.
For sure.
Yeah, my homework setup has almost all Park Tool.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, another thing you could do is look at these kits, look at what it includes, what you really need or value, and you could invest in those tools, right? Like a nice high quality Allen set, and if you're like, well, I don't need these cone wrenches. Like you could go, okay, well then I'm going to get the nice derailleur hanger alignment tool, like the Abbey one. Like that is a sick tool that honestly I haven't seen from any other company, like a nice portable derailleur hanger.
It's the best.
It is the best.
It is the best.
So
tool.
like, there's definitely some things you could pick and choose. It just depends on like what you really plan on doing with your bike, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, it doesn't include a brake bleed kit. Like
I think
like
the hard part is he might not know what tools he needs. So
Right.
the Park Tool Professional, what that Trevor said,
True.
Advanced.
Mhm.
Advanced.
Yeah.
That's a
Advanced
good
mechanic one.
That's a good starting place where you're going to have enough to get going. And then as you work on stuff, you're like, oh, I'm really using this tool a lot. Maybe I'll get a wear one. Or,
Mhm.
okay, I don't have this, and this. So I'll buy the Park Tool version of that so I can continue to build out my kit for my bike and my needs.
That's a great point. Yeah, true. You do typically, you'll be working on your bike and be like, oh, that's a tool that I need, or, you don't have, or it's not in the kit, whatever. Yeah, good points all around. So there you go. Speaking of which, how about brakes? For the past few weeks, I have been thinking about upgrading my brakes. I currently have a Carbon Trek Slash 2022 with SLX brakes. I have been having a hard time with long technical descents and having consistent braking pressure. Along with that, they seem to overheat about halfway through a run. I've tried to change pad compounds, but have had no luck. TRP, DHR, Dominion T4, Hope Tech 4, and Maguras all seem to be good options, but with so many options available, I start to get lost. With that being said, I was wondering if you guys had any recommendations for brakes designed around 6 to 8 minute gravity/DH runs.
Well, I was first going to say, make sure they're bled correctly.
Yep.
Make sure you have good pads. I tend to go metal or sintered. I think they bite better, and good rotors. Sounds like he might have done some of that, but that's always like the first place to start if you're having like, they're not working as good as maybe they used to.
Yeah.
I've noticed if on SLX brakes specifically, if the bleed's good, it's really good.
Yeah.
They hit super hard. So yeah, if your brake pads are getting too hot or they're not metallic, that's huge. Or if your rotors are getting burnt up, go bigger rotors.
Yep.
I think you can make a set of SLX brakes feel super good for a 6 to 8 minute gravity run, to be honest with you, as long as you have that correct setup and if it's appropriate for that.
Yeah. I guess that's, go ahead, Liam.
Oh, no.
I was going to say, I guess there's potential there where he maybe tried pad compounds, but didn't do anything with the rotors. So there could be cross contamination there, and which would obviously, you'd have no luck with that. Or changing rotor size. I don't know if you already said that, going up in rotor size.
Yeah. I mean, like the friction is only as good as like what you bring to it. So it's like if your pad's not good, your rotor's never going to be good. If your rotor's not good, your pad's never going to be good. They kind of both have to be super good. Like when someone brings in a brake or a bike to the shop here for service and their brake's contaminated, it's squealing super bad. It's like, okay, we have to replace the rotor and the brake pad.
Like the one you were working on today.
Yeah. If we just do one of them, we're wasting money. We're wasting everyone's time. You got to get both of them as good as possible. And then,
fresh start.
Then you'll be good.
But out of his options he put down to answer that, I'd go TRP DHRs.
Yeah. You've had those before.
Yeah. I think as a whole, they're the most powerful brakes with the easiest setup and the least amount of maintenance.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
would suggest the Mavens, but
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
They have a lot more setup with the massaging of the pistons, but once they're set up,
it's great.
Really
they don't require maintenance.
Yeah.
Like once they're set up and bleed correctly, they'll probably last a whole year before you should rebleed them. And that's only because your oil's going to get bad and heated up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say Mavens. I mean, just from our recent experience on the Crestline and other bikes, I mean, those brakes are super impressive.
Yep. I'm going to throw Mavens on my frameworks.
Nice.
So.
With the TRPs too, it's pretty easy to get brake pads for those, and it'll also fit like a just standard Saint brake pad without the fins. So if you were in the random part of the world, you needed some brake pads, it would be easy.
That is true.
Which is a good thing about running a brake from a brand like that, or Shimano or SRAM per se, because parts are readily available.
Yeah. Even though Mavens are new, they're going to be popular, and there'll be pads kind of everywhere. So
yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah, true. All good points. How about this next one? I love Worldwide Cyclery and everything you guys do for the sport. I love the B team and your sponsorship of Nico's team. Over the years, you guys have inspired me to purchase a Revel Ranger to make trips to Rock Creek and buy tons of stuff from your website. My question: I'm planning a trip to Whistler Bike Park in July. Nice. Flying into Seattle, renting a van, and then driving to Vancouver. I can only bring one bike.
No.
2024 Trek Session or 2024 Santa Cruz Mega Tower. No one will ever convince me that an enduro bike is as capable as my downhill bike. If you know, you know. That being said, the Mega Tower is insanely capable and pedals great. We're going to try and get over to Squamish. Trip is 5 days of riding. Help me make the decision. I don't want to be tossing and turning at night and staring at the window, missing my downhill bike. I also don't want to miss out on any great experiences that require pedaling, which I am absolutely not afraid of. Thanks for all you do. That is a dilemma.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty easy.
Enduro bike.
Enduro bike.
And if you're there for 5 days,
Yeah.
5 days, you're going to want, he said he's going to go Squamish. You want to ride outside the park in Whistler for a day as well, ride the west side or the east side. But, and a lot of the trails in Whistler don't require a downhill bike. I'm not saying it's as capable as one. An enduro bike is capable, because it's definitely not. But they don't require a downhill bike. There are a few trails that do, for sure.
Yeah.
But the most stuff, 80% of what you're going to be riding out there is totally 170 friendly. Throw some double downs or DH casing on your bike. It'll be a little heavy to pedal, but that'll help bridge the gap for the capability and like being able to hard charge through some of the rough stuff that you might find in the bike park.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I couldn't agree more. It is a bummer that he owns a Trek Session.
Yeah.
And he's going to the Whistler Bike Park. Like maybe,
I know.
yeah, maybe your trip is just not designed around a downhill bike.
Yeah.
But go again another year or the same year or whatever, and just focus on riding the bike park. Then you can bring the downhill bike.
Sure.
And it would be super fun. But if
Yeah.
you're going to do anything other than bike park, the downhill bike is going to be useless. So yeah, that's tough.
And even
That's
then,
really
I
tough.
think carrying speed on some of even the jump trails on the downhill bike is pretty hard.
Yeah.
You're working a lot to carry that speed, and then enduro bike just does it a bit easier.
I also think a downhill bike would be fun there if you really know the trails.
True.
Because you're going so fast. You have to be going so fast to ride a downhill bike well that if you were to do like 1 or 2 laps on a gnarly trail, you would never be going up to speed or hitting things hard. So the Mega Tower might even be better for just that. But if you like
True.
are a local and you're lapping out the downhill track, of course you want a downhill bike,
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
that's interesting.
Yeah, we can't guarantee that you won't be looking out the window missing your downhill bike. I mean, obviously, if you have one, you're going to be thinking about it.
Yeah.
But like on A-Line, I don't know if I'd want a downhill bike.
That's
No,
what I
you don't
mean.
need it.
Yeah.
Not on A-Line.
On-
And even Dirt Merchant.
On Dirt Merchant,
Yeah,
I
no.
was on my 140. It was great.
Same.
Yeah.
Carrying so much speed and not trying as hard, to be honest.
I've ridden a downhill bike and I've ridden trail bikes or enduro bikes, and the downhill bike is wicked fun. I'm not going to lie. And I was following some really fast guys, and it was just helping me not die.
It's a bit ignorant. You can
yeah.
just kind of just send it.
Yeah,
and
you
I
could
was
definitely get away with stuff.
overshooting stuff and just no braking into rock gardens trying to keep up. However, I would bring back an enduro bike if I had like the split option of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Talk about a dilemma.
Yeah.
That's
I still want to ride a downhill bike at Whistler. though.
No,
that's the problem.
it is like a bucket list move.
For sure. Yeah.
That is the total problem. Yeah. I mean, especially if you're like not even close to being able to drive there and just bring both, or like
Yep.
you can't fly with both. It's
No,
just, it's not a
that's
thing.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous, especially if you have a 170 Mega Tower.
Yeah.
But man, I'm sorry you have such a horrible problem to deal with. But have fun on your trip. That's going to be sick. You're going to
Yeah.
love it.
You're going to have fun regardless.
Yeah. Liam, you want to read that next one?
No.
Our next one isn't really a question, more of
It's a
a
statement.
comment statement
Comment.
from a customer.
Yeah. Hi all. I heard that breathing through your nose compresses and heats up the air entering your lungs. Best regards, Chris.
It's not a question.
Nice.
It's a statement that's possibly true.
You know, Chris, just for you, we looked this up, and according to a couple of different medical sources, we did confirm that, yes, breathing through your nose effectively compresses and heats up the air entering your lungs. It'll also filter it, humidify it, and basically, especially I found on cold days, if you're not like totally warmed up.
So you found it, or
Well, no,
the study found
no,
it?
the study is accurate, but I'm saying from my own personal experience,
Okay.
if it's like really cold out, you ever do that where you like go hard on a cold day and like you have like that cough or like weird, upper respiratory, so I think breathing through your nose will help avoid this.
But you also can't go hard and breathe through your nose.
That's right. It's hard.
I feel like if I'm breathing through my nose, I'm trying to lower my heart rate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know if that works or not, but I feel like it makes you take a slower breath, which
For
might
sure.
calm you down a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, thanks for the statement, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll try to remember to breathe through my nose. Liam, do you want to read the next one?
Yeah, I'll read this one. Good morrow. Can you guys explain reach for me as if I'm a third grader? Does stem length factor into reach? Please add any other relevant size determining components like WTF is stack. Thank you, bunches. Well, you need a Geometry for Dummies. That book, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Geometry for
Do you
Dummies?
think they'll talk about bike geometry in there?
No, but like bike geometry for dummies.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I'll explain reach the best I can. It's so hard to do without seeing it visually. If you draw a straight vertical line from your bottom bracket up in the air, and then you take a 90-degree angle from that line, and it's going to run horizontally from the top of your head tube, the measurement from that vertical line to the center of your head tube is the reach. So it is actually an imaginary number.
I thought you did pretty good there explaining it without having anything to refer to.
Cool. So it's a right angle from essentially your bottom bracket straight up and then over to your center of your head tube. And then the measurement is from the line of the bottom bracket to the center of the head tube.
Yeah.
So it is kind of an imaginary number. You can't actually it's really hard to measure it on a bike.
It is.
You need some
Long rulers.
long rulers and levelers and stuff.
Yeah.
Plumb bob.
But yeah, so, and what really affects length, stem is not factored into reach as it should not be. I have seen some weird geometry charts that kind of do, but
The stem length for the bike geometry.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
yeah, but, they shouldn't, it shouldn't. But what affects reach a lot is seat tube angle, because that is not accounted for whatsoever into it. So you could have a slack seat tube angle and a reach, same exact reach on one bike, and a steep seat tube angle and the same exact reach, and they're going to feel way different pedaling. However, when you drop the seat and you stand up, they're basically going to feel very similar.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
That's
it's
a
from the
very
bottom
interesting
bracket.
phenomenon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can totally see that.
So that will affect that. And then stack is stack from the ground or stack from the axle?
I thought stack was essentially head tube length.
I'm just trying to think.
I guess you got spacers.
I think
No,
stack
stack-
stack might be from front axle to the head tube.
Stack is from bottom bracket. So it's basically the opposite of reach.
Ah.
So it is from the bottom bracket, a horizontal line out to the center of the head tube with a line down. And the measurement is from the center of the head tube to that horizontal line. So it's the height of essentially where your feet are
Okay.
to where the top of your head tube is going to be.
So head tube
That makes
length
sense.
has something to do with it.
It does.
Okay.
Yes. But
Definitely.
it doesn't have anything to do with spacers or anything else.
Right. So essentially anything that's changeable, like your stem length, your spacers, that is not into any of these numbers.
No,
does not factor into any of
that
these.
is not factor into reach or stack. But reach and stack are essentially, you could look at reach and stack and almost determine what bike you need just based off that. There's other factors that you're gonna want to look at, like chainstay length, seat tube angle, head tube angle. Those are all kind of contributing factors to what a bike's gonna ride like.
Mm-hmm.
But he said any other components, not really, but stem length obviously has a huge feel on your bike.
Right.
So like none of those like stem and your head tube spacers are going to affect like the base number
No.
of what the bike's reach and stack is, but your steer spacers and stem length are a way to tune that for your specific specific body
Yeah, preference.
and what you want to have
Yeah.
it feel like on the bike, which is a way to tune the stack and tune the reach.
Nice.
But if a stack is too tall to start with, you can't add more.
Or takeaway.
You can't take away.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like I really like how the Druid has a pretty high stack.
It does.
And combined, I feel like with the chainstays, it feels very balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Did I sound like I knew what I was talking
And
about?
did.
the seat tube angle does not seem very slack. I don't know what the
No,
numbers
it's quite
are,
steep.
but
It is
it's-
quite
it's-
steep.
I want to say it's 77,
It feels
78
up
on
and
that
down,
bike.
which is quite nice
Yeah.
to pedal around. But something to keep in or to reference with stack and reach is that they affect each other. So like the higher you go up in stack on your steer spacers, the closer the reach is going to come to you,
Correct.
and vice versa. So something to keep in mind.
Yep.
There you go. Something to think about. What a great
Or
question.
if you over fork a bike, it will also shorten your reach.
Right.
Yep. Like 10 mil is like 5 mil in reach, something like that.
Wow.
Worth it.
Very interesting.
It depends when.
Yeah.
We have a pretty funny question here. Yo, what's up, guys? Here's my problem. Every time I go on a long ride, I bring a protein bar with me. However, there's nothing worse than the taste of cardboard while on an epic ride. What are some of your favorite snacks that give a great amount of energy and don't taste like fermented Skittles?
Sugar.
Sugar.
Actually, just eat Skittles.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's wrong with fermented Skittles?
Just Skittles. Skittles work. No, honestly, though, sugar, if you're riding more than 2 hours, you need a lot of carbon sugar.
Yeah.
And just whatever you like. I use that time to eat complete gas station junk food,
Yeah.
Yep.
like gummy bears and gummies and,
You said dates.
well, dates and like peanut butter sandwiches with like a ton of honey is like my kind of healthier option.
That's for for the sandwiches for like a big all day
Yeah.
ride. You need that
Yeah.
food to sustain you.
Yeah, but yeah, otherwise it's just sugar.
Sugar keeps your energy high. And
Gummies.
don't worry about it being bad for you, or there's like, you would never eat that. I mean, you could eat that normally, but
Yeah.
you shouldn't eat that normally. But if you're working out and you're eating a bag of gummy bears, it's going to burn right through you, and you're going to be able to use that energy to make you have a better workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's worth it.
Instant energy is the key.
Yeah, but yeah, candy a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your go-to?
Yeah. Big one of my go-tos is these Trader Joe's gummies. I don't even know what they're called. They're just, I know what they look like. They almost look like Starburst, but they're like really soft.
Oh, yeah.
And they're really easy to eat while like you're riding.
Those
And-
kind of sour ones.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
They have sugar on the outside.
Yeah.
So I find them really easy to chew, or like Swedish fish or Swedish swimmers. I feel like tend to get like stuck in your teeth a little bit. They're a little harder to chew
Yeah.
if your heart rate's high. So I
I
go
feel like
to those
Skittles
a
might
lot.
be good. You could like kind of suck on them a little bit
Yeah.
too, and then eat them.
At the Breck Epic, they were handing out Skittles at the top of one of the passes, and I ate like 4 handfuls.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I eat a lot of dates and mangoes as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a natural sugar.
hmm
Speaking of those like sugar covered gummies, remember like those Scratch kind of
Yeah.
makes, if
Scratch
you're,
are really good.
if you're into, more cycling oriented or like specific fuel, I guess, or whatever, athlete fuel, like those Scratch gummies are super good. I like those.
Yeah, they are. They're just, the prepackaged cycling stuff tends to be more expensive.
For sure. Definitely not as cheap.
Going to Trader Joe's and buying a box of things and throwing them in a Ziploc.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. I just have to remember to eat them only on rides.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a sweet tooth, so it's not that hard for me. But
Self-control.
I have a bread.
Self-control.
I have a bread tooth.
We could go on a whole other podcast talking
Yeah.
about Liam's bread
Oh
escapades.
yeah,
I like to
Jared's seen some
I've
gnarly
seen it.
stuff.
I've seen him put down a loaf.
I like to bring Uncrustables on rides.
Yeah,
That's my go-to.
Uncrustables are good.
That's wild.
Because they defrost in your pocket.
Mhm.
Oh wow,
so it's-
frozen, straight up.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you have to freeze them. So
Wow.
and they defrost in your pocket, and then it doesn't make a mess because it's in plastic already. And then it's a perfect, it's like 350 calories and a bunch of sugar, some fats, some carbs. It's pretty balanced. And then also Rice Krispie treats are a good one.
Mhm.
That's an easy one as well.
Dang.
And then like a gel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, gels, Martin, whatever.
Mhm.
That's good. But this time of year when I'm just doing long rides, I just try to eat mostly real food or food that I really enjoy, like gummy bears and stuff.
That sounds good. I need to get some more of that in my arsenal. Been having too
Yeah.
many goos lately. I bought a bunch of them and just
It's
like,
great for like race season and doing races and stuff like that. Why not when I could eat gummy bears?
Yeah, it's honestly it's a great excuse to eat like crap.
Yeah.
And,
That's
and
true.
it
As long
tastes
as you
good.
only do it while you're riding.
Yeah.
Like maybe 30 minutes leading up to riding, and then while you're riding, and then afterwards back to a healthy meal and healthy dinners. Like you're good.
sounds pretty good to me.
Yep.
Say less. Love the podcast. I have a question about e-bikes for the upcoming podcast. I currently ride an acoustic pivot trail mountain bike, but I've rented several e-bikes while traveling. I truly enjoyed riding them as I was able to ride for much longer than I would have been able to. The only thing that I would have trouble getting used to is when you go to pedal on a technical section and the motor assists you with a slight lurch. It is something that I learned to get used to, but it would be nice if manufacturers could figure out how to smooth the power transition to the drivetrain. Is this a known problem? Am I just inexperienced with e-bikes? Or is this something they're looking to improve? Thanks, Mike. Well,
First off, I just want to say I'm of the opinion of calling bikes bikes and not acoustic bikes. This isn't a roast on Mike. I'm just like sticking strong to that, you know?
It's just a mountain bike. Maybe.
Yeah. Mountain bikes are bikes and then e-bikes are e-bikes.
E-bikes are
Yeah.
the outlier.
Correct.
Yes.
Gotta stick to our roots
I don't
here.
think,
Yeah.
I think I'm a dwindling breed, but,
No.
you know.
No, I think there's a hard.
I hope not.
Yeah.
There's a core segment.
There's a
of us.
place, but yeah, I hope not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would say maybe check what mode you're riding in. Make sure you're not in like a full turbo mode because
That's
that'll
true.
be super aggressive. And
Yeah.
the new Bosch ones have an overdrive mode where it just kind of you stop pedaling and it'll keep on going for a couple seconds. So that
Mhm.
would be super hard to figure out on a technical climb.
Mhm.
And I would detune the motor a little bit.
I was going to say, you can also tune most of the motors.
easier mode and make it so it doesn't have that much acceleration in it, and that'll help you a
Yeah.
lot.
it is kind of
different-
tough to get used to, honestly.
Yeah, it is.
It's something to get
I've-
used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've fully experienced what he's talking about. And certain motors do it worse than others. Actually, the Forestall was so torquey
Yeah.
for being a half power, super torquey. The Shimano isn't torquey. I
Mhm.
don't think I ever really had that problem.
It's like easier out of the saddle, I feel like. You can kind of
Sometimes,
modulate
yeah.
the power, whereas
and then
like,
Bosch
you know.
can be snappy, but also depends on the mode.
I'll tell you what, though, if you get used to that, it can be to your advantage.
Oh,
For sure.
totally.
And especially on the Bosch Overdrive, and the DJI has the same exact thing. Keeps on going for a couple seconds. You can kind of just do a half crank, and it'll get you up anything.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
if you can kind of get that into your brain and figure out the timing on that, it's actually a pretty good advantage and helps kind of make the trail just a little smoother.
Yeah.
True
more,
that.
more flow,
more flow.
more fast.
Tech climbing on e-bikes can be so fun. Like I think it was maybe 2 years ago, we were climbing Dead Cow. Like
Yeah.
we were doing
yeah.
6-7 laps of Dead Cow, which like on a normal bike you do 2 or 3 and you are
You're done.
cooked.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
It's brutal.
and we were doing like 6 or 7, and I was laughing going up this thing, like making motorcycle noises, like
Yeah.
like cruising up these rock piles that like you can barely clear.
Yeah, the one at the top.
Like I can barely clear on a normal bike.
That's hard.
You know,
It's a whole different game going
and-
uphill.
Yeah,
It
and
is.
it's so fun.
It's way
to
more
do it.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just
I
like
mean,
laughing.
totally. It opens
Yeah.
up. It opens up things that you would not try on a
Yeah.
regular bike. On
Or
a mountain bike.
or like lapping out a technical climb 6 or 7 times. That's 1,000 feet. You know,
yeah,
like that's literally what you're doing.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fun.
It's fun. All right, Liam, you want to read that one?
Yeah. First off, love the podcast, love you guys, and love my kettle jersey and pants. Question: I hear you guys talking about road bikes on the podcast. As a longtime mountain biker, never road biker, if I was looking to get into road biking for some exercise and endurance, what would be a good road bike to start with? I'm 5'9", 158, and currently I have a Canyon Neuron in size medium. Thanks for the help and advice.
You know, I would say get a gravel bike.
I would say get a gravel bike, honestly, you know what bike I would probably get if I was just starting out and suggest someone get a bike is that new Alloy Specialized Crux.
Mm.
That bike is a bang for the buck. It's one by, you can fit like 45s if you want, but you can also run like 35 slicks, which like, I don't run smaller than 35 slicks on a road bike these days. Like there's no point. It's not any slower than running 28s. You have more grip and it's more comfortable. So that's what I would do. Or if you're brand loyal to Canyon, I'm sure they make an Alloy gravel bike in the same kind of like sub $3,000 price point.
Yeah,
It's
they
probably
do.
I'd say it's
killer.
like a Grail maybe or something like
Yeah,
that.
Grail and Alloy.
Mhm. That's a great bike. Looks a great
And
looking bike.
what's
man.
cool about a gravel bike, and we all kind of do it, is if you have a gravel bike and you put road tires on it, it's a road bike now.
Yeah.
You know, it's maybe even a little bit more
Yeah.
comfortable than a road bike.
Yeah,
And
unless you're at the
Exactly.
upper echelon of, I wouldn't even say group rides because I still do fast-paced group rides on my gravel bike and I'm fine.
yeah, same.
I think if you're the upper echelon of like properly trying to race road bike events, you need a real road bike. Other than that, I think a gravel bike's totally fine.
If you're just riding, it's
You're just
good.
riding
Yeah.
and you hop in a group ride here and there. Even like we'll do, the quote unquote world's ride, the local fast-paced ride. I do it on my gravel. I've never done it on a road bike.
100%. It's more comfortable, more versatile. You're basically getting two bikes in one.
Yep.
There's like you said, unless you're a hardcore roadie, you almost have no reason to get a hardcore road bike.
Yeah, it's limiting.
Yeah, 100%. And that's honestly one of the reasons why I sold the road bike in the first place was to get a gravel bike, get more clearance, and open up all these different routes around here because we do have some pretty cool routes you can put together.
Yeah, and when you run like a 35 to 40C slick, like a Gravel King,
Yeah.
and a slick is like my favorite tire to recommend for that. you can ride the, smoother fire roads to get off of the busier roads in sections, and it opens up routes and is a little safer. So
Yeah.
And you'll notice when you spend some time and adapt onto the road bike and you get back on the mountain bike, it really does benefit it a lot.
Totally,
I don't think
sure.
that mountain biking necessarily benefits road biking all that much, but
I think it can.
It
I think
can
it
a little
benefits
bit.
climbing.
for sure.
Yeah.
But for the endurance and sustained power that the road bike will give you, it'll make you feel like a beast on the road bike or on the mountain bike. It'll be
For sure.
good.
I think the mountain bike helps with punchy power.
Yeah.
And grinding like a heavy gear when climbing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll top out in road bike gearing, but I'm used to that on a mountain bike. I'm used to going slow.
That's
and
everyday
spinning
life.
Slow cadence.
Mm-hmm.
So on the road bike, like actually what kills me is a high cadence. If I'm high cadencing for like
blow up.
3-4 hours, it's tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Hope you guys are all okay out there. E-bike question and a road bike question back to back. I know it's brutal.
Yeah. Wow.
And
it is a mountain bike podcast, but
We just love riding bikes.
we just love riding bikes.
All the bikes.
my motto is ride all the bikes.
Yeah. And with that said, that's all we got for this one. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in. We truly do appreciate it. And if you are so inclined and you love this podcast so much and you haven't reviewed it yet, please go do so on your favorite podcast platform. Screenshot it, send it to us, podcastworldwidecycling.com, and we'll send you the
Gift card to
website.
Worldwide Cyclery.
Worldwide Cycling website. We have had a couple people try and use it on the Kettle or Trail One site, and I'm like, brother man, it's to the Worldwide site. So,
But also all of Kettle and Trail One is on the Worldwide site.
that's a great point, Liam.
Bingo.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah, I just got 50 mil stems loaded on Worldwide yesterday.
Dang.
Go buy a stem, go buy some kettle pants or some
Hell's Gate
jerseys.
grips.
Some Hell's Gate grips, whatever you like.
How much is the gift card?
$15.
You have to spend $13 to buy Hell's Gate grips at that point.
Wow.
Yeah, $13 grips if
That's
you leave a review,
pretty
essentially.
good.
Not bad.
I'm not sure anybody listening hasn't left a review yet because we've been doing this for I don't even know how long at this point. But and I'm not sure how much longer we're gonna do it. Jack,
Yeah.
please.
All right. All right.
And with that said, thank you. We love you. Good night.
Love ya.
Cheerio.
Bye.